Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming to the special swearing-in where the most councilors are being replaced to the new council. It's certainly a rememberable event for me, being the police chief and the town manager, and it's my pleasure to serve as the master of ceremonies tonight. And before we get started, I just want to recognize our supporters in the town and town government. Speaker Robert A. DeLeo, Senator Joseph Bongori, Chief Paul Flanagan, Deputy Chief John Goodwin. A very special gentleman is to my far left, Fred Lasky from the MWRA. Mr. Lasky is certainly, we appreciate his assistance during the last 2 weeks with snowstorms as our equipment has failed. Thank you again for your dedication and service to the town. Along with many other department heads who are here tonight, this school committee is also present, and we'd like to thank them for coming and showing their support. Members of the Board of Health who are here present, showing their support to this new council. And I'd like to first start with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'd like to invite the Winthrop Middle School and High School Band for the national anthem. Thank you to the middle school band for that wonderful rendition. And I'd like to call forward for some opening remarks, the Speaker of the House, Robert A. DeLeo.
Thank you very much, Chief, Town Manager, and whatever other title that you may have. Whatever title you have, you're doing a great job.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you so much for allowing me to participate in this evening's ceremony. First of all, congratulations to all of the members of the incoming council. I know many of you are serving for the very first time, and I want to congratulate you for that. To all of you who are leaving, I want to also congratulate and thank you so much for your many years of service. To Ron Vecchia, a gentleman that I served with some years ago as a member of the Board of Selectmen. Some of you may remember the Board of Selectmen. I'm not sure if you do, it's so long ago now. But I'll tell you one thing, he was one of the best public servants that I ever had the opportunity to serve with, and I know he's going to do a great job as well. I also be remiss if I didn't recognize also, or mention at least, the members of the town personnel, especially some of those who serve in the leadership positions as some of our department heads, whether again as town manager, fire chief, DPW head, superintendent of public works, or the superintendent of schools, and so many others. I sincerely want to thank them for the great job that they do day in and day out for our community. You know, it's funny, but just last week, there was an article in the paper about chicken pot pie, and you're saying, what is the Speaker of the House talking about chicken pot pie? But it happened to be talking about one of our own restaurants here in Winthrop. And he talked about the fact about how the Winthrop Bobs have one of the best chicken pot pies ever. Now, this is not an advertisement for the Winthrop Bobs, first of all. But I just want to read you one thing, because it caught my attention. And if you live in Winthrop, you probably come here. The spot is beloved. To most of us, this town is a place that we fly over on our way to elsewhere. Locals have the last laugh with their seaside strolls and killer views, and neighbors who are also friends. I once sent to West Coast visitors in Belle Isle Seafood for the last taste of New England on their way home. They texted me from Logan, and they said, "Why doesn't everyone live in Winthrop?" And I thought that was so telling about our community in terms of the type of community that we have here and why we're so lucky to live in our great town. So to all of you here tonight, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting these men and women who are about to be sworn in. And thank you for what I think is you live in the most desirable places to live and to work. Great town of Winthrop. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, Speaker. It's my honor next to call the Senator Joe Boncory to come up for opening remarks.
Thank you, Terry. I noticed you're getting a little hoarse there. I hope you're not yelling too much in your new role. No, but he's doing a great job. How about a hand for Terry Delahanty? You know, he's really stepped up in the past year, as another gentleman to my right here has, Russ Sanford. And I want to thank you too, Russ, and all the members retiring from the council, Councilor Del Vento, Councilor Verona, Councilor Boyajian, who are not here. You know, these gentlemen have been on the council since its inception, really, have done a tremendous job in leaving this town a lot better than they found it. They've built a very strong foundation that I know that Ron Vecchia will build on and continue to build on with his new council. And when I say new council, I mean new council, because I think this is the greatest change the council's ever seen. And it's a welcome change. I think it's wonderful in this day and age for anyone to stand up, put their name on a ballot, and say, I'm going to step forward and I'm going to do it. With the divisiveness going on in Washington, D.C., and the lack of things getting done in our nation's capital, we need now more than ever strong leadership at the municipal and state level. We need leaders to step forward and say, I'll do it. And that's what each one of you has done. And this town will be a much better place for it. So thank you all for your commitment to this service. Thank you to the new school committee members, the Housing Authority, which holds a special place in my heart. I often joke with Peter Gill that, you know, his seat on the Housing Authority that I once had is really a launch pad for state senate. So, you know, whenever you're ready, Peter, let me know. But just, again, to Ron, and of course to Linda Vecchia, thank you so much. We know it takes an entire family to do this job. You can talk to Peter or any other council president before. Russ, certainly, and his wife I know is here too. They'll let you know that it's a big commitment on both your parts. So I just want to take time to thank Linda Vecchia for your commitment to this town as well. It's noted. Thank you. But again, best of luck to all of you. Anything I can ever do, please feel free to reach out. I know the Speaker's office is open as well. So best of luck and good fortune. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. And I just want to also thank the school committee for actually appointing an interim superintendent of schools, Lisa Howard, who's been very good to work with, very easy to work with, and the seamless transition going back and forth between the town and the schools. And you're in good hands. I see that on a day-to-day basis. So thank you for that, for your dedication and making sure that our schools are well taken care of. And to the counselors that will be liberated very shortly as we swear in the new counselors, I just wanted to thank you for your support, for all public services leadership that you have shown throughout the years. You have made tremendous accomplishments. We sit here, and one of the accomplishments that you were able to do, and we stare at a field across the street, it was another accomplishment. But on the day-to-day routine business of the town, we had better streets than we did back in 2007 and 2008. We get better sidewalks when we get better services that we provide today through to your leadership. So thank you all. And just on the councilors that are staying, we appreciate your continued commitment, and the councilors that are coming in and getting sworn in tonight. Thank you for stepping forward. Thank you for your leadership. We look forward to working with you. I just urge you to be cautious on your balancing of time between family and government. It's a tough balance, but it is a necessary balance. Those who support us at home, those who we go home to and complain to, are often the victims of our elections, our appointments, and our service. So always remember them, and they do come first. I'd like to call forward Carla Vitale, our town clerk, to go through the order of swearing in. Thank you.
Good evening. We thought that we would call folks up in groups, so if you'd like to come up, please, I'd like to invite the Housing Authority folks to join me. Is that okay?
That's fine, whatever you're comfortable with.
Right here, just so your families can see. There you go. Okay, gentlemen, if you'll raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear and affirm that you will faithfully and impartially perform all the duties imposed upon you by your election to the office of the Winthrop Housing Authority in and for the town of Winthrop, the state of Massachusetts, according to the best of your ability?
I do.
I thank you for your
Thank you,
willingness to
Carla.
serve.
Thank you very
Would
much,
you do this for me? Do me a favor, if you could sign right here. That's good. Thank you.
So,
Do we sign this too?
I'll keep you your paperwork later.
Okay.
Hold on,
And
stay
do I-
right here, because they'll probably do it.
thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank
Both.
you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, my turn.
If I could ask the school committee to please join me up here. Jennifer J.H. Powell, James Fabiano, and Brian J. Perrin. Do you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear and affirm that you will faithfully and impartially perform all the duties imposed upon you by your election to the Winthrop School Committee in and for the town of Winthrop, the state of Massachusetts, to the best of your ability?
I do.
I do. I thank you for your willingness to serve. Can you do me a favor and sign over here? Jennifer? I thank each of you.
Thank you.
And if I could please invite the Winthrop Library trustees. Ms. Virginia F. Wallace is not able to be with us tonight. Jillian Texera and Betty Nicholas Peabody, please. Ladies, do you solemnly swear and affirm that you will faithfully and impartially perform all the duties imposed upon you by your election to the office of Winthrop Library Trustee in and for the town of Winthrop, the state of Massachusetts, to the best of your ability?
I do.
Well, I thank you for your
Thank you so
willingness
much.
to serve.
Thank you.
Please sign for me, please. Thank you both.
Sure.
Next, I'd like to ask our town council, Precinct 1, Mr. Michael McDuffie, Precinct 3, Mr. Nick LeConte, Precinct 5, Mr. Peter Christopher, and Councilor At-Large, Mr. Michael Lacerdo, to please join me at the podium. Gentlemen, if you raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm that you will faithfully and impartially perform the duties imposed upon you by your election to Winthrop Town Council to the best of your ability, in and for the town of Winthrop, so help you God?
I do. Thank you.
Let these guys go first.
Okay.
Go for it.
Thank you.
There you are, Mr. Thank you. And now if I could ask Council President-elect, Mr. Ron Vecchia, to the stage, please. Mr. Vecchia, if you would raise your right hand, and if you'd like to read this for me, please.
I do solemnly swear to affirm that I, Ronald V. Vecchio, will faithfully and impartially perform the duties imposed upon me by my election to the office of Town Council President in and for the town of Winthrop, the state of Massachusetts, in according to the best of my ability.
Thank you to our town clerk, Carla Vitale. I would just like to invite the council president now, it's my honor to call him that for the first time, to join me here at the podium for his opening remarks.
I just have a few words, probably about 45 minutes, but only fooling. I wouldn't want to upstage my good friend, Mr. Bob DeLeo. Robert, thank you so much for being here. It's a special night for me because you mentioned the fact that we had worked together so well for many, many years. Now we're elevated to a different position, and I look forward to working with you on a daily basis. Joe, with you as well. And I see Fred Lasky here, our neighbor at MWRA. I thank you for attending. You're a good neighbor, and you've done a lot. We've been through a lot together, good and bad through the years, but you turned out to be a good neighbor, and we appreciate all you do. I also would like to recognize my brothers and sisters, veterans from the American Legion that are here tonight. Thank you.
And I see many town employees here, which I'm very encouraged to see, and a lot of our town support staff and supervisors and department heads. So thank you for attending tonight. It was 12 years ago today that this community experienced an historic event as we changed the form of government from town meeting to town council. If you had moved away from Winthrop and just returned for the first time, you would be experiencing some of the physical improvements that have materialized in the last few years alone. Winthrop's gateway improvements welcome visitors with new lighting, new infrastructure improvements, and a vibrant business district that's thanks to private development and state funding. Less than a mile east on Main Street, the new state-of-the-art middle high school that we're standing in tonight, or sitting in tonight. Partially funded with state funds, and its construction guided by dedicated elected and appointed citizens that brought the project in on time and under budget. Additionally, upgrades to Veterans Field, with new dugouts, new infields, associated upgrades, and the installation of new parking barriers have brought a new appearance to the area, a sense of pride to our citizens, but more importantly, a new sense of commitment to our students. The entire project was topped off this year with a brand new state-of-the-art facility across the street, as we know as Miller Field. Other projects like that, like the removal of the chain link fence on Veterans Road and cross streets, the installation of wooden guardrails there on Walden Street, Ingleside Park, Hannaford Park, and other sections of the community, are just examples of how the appearance of Winthrop is changing for the better and improving the overall look of our seashore community. Invisible through all of this is the improvements that have been made in our financial bill of health. Through good leadership, highly qualified and dedicated town workers and dedicated Citizens Advisory Committee, Winthrop is better prepared financially for changes in the economy with good reserves and a well-maintained stabilization fund. Our school system continues to make improvements in teacher retention as a result of making teaching in Winthrop more competitive with the similar school districts around us. We have recently seen an increase in MCAS scores across the district and continue to see quality colleges and universities accepting our graduating seniors. There is much to be proud of. For those that have served as elected and appointed officials, we thank you for your service. We are proud of our dedicated town employees, our first responders, and our teachers, and the staff that makes the difference each day in the lives of our children. Our department heads provide leadership each day that continues to move the community in a positive direction. But there is much more to be done if we are to maintain financial stability and provide the best quality of life for our citizens. I will work with the council and the town manager to develop a 5-year financial plan that will project out capital and operation expenditures anticipated in future years, along with a review of our ongoing building maintenance program. I will recommend that the council approves the appointment of a new town manager that shares the vision of our citizens and elected officials and respects our history, but at the same time be open to new ideas and the desires of all of the residents of Winthrop. It will be paramount that the new manager provide an open process in the day-to-day operation of the town and always incorporate a process that addresses neighborhood concerns as it pertains to critical issues. We will need to accelerate the progress of the reuse and rezoning of the old middle school site. We have known for some time now that the site would become surplus. We need to get this process moving forward with all options on the table. We currently have a part-time town planner that will be working on this and other projects. And I will recommend to the town that we consider forming a position of a permanent town planner that will be working on this and also be able to develop a master plan that addresses future development town-wide. Selective, neighborhood-sensitive development will be the key if we are to broaden our tax base and avoid overrides and debt exclusions to fund the cost of large capital projects. I will work with the town manager and the council to develop an overall transportation plan that includes water, bus, auto, biking, and walking, and suggest a complete evaluation of the current town ferry operation. In a perfect world, I would like to see Winthrop residents with a Charlie card and have access to commute to work by bus, by train, and yes, even by ferry. Pie in the sky? Who knows? We will never know unless we pursue our ideas and work with our legislative delegation to see where it may all lead. It is important that we continue to strive for excellence in education, for we have an obligation to provide the best education for our children. Our district has made great strides in the last few years, thanks to great leadership, great staff, and excellent teachers. It is important that we have an open, positive, ongoing dialogue with our neighborhood communities, including Massport, MWRA, and DCR. Future development outside the boundaries of our community could have negative implications to our quality of life. It is important that we work together to help mitigate any negative impacts. I look forward to working with all of the members of the council and the leadership team as we move Winthrop into the new year. I will not have all the answers. I will look to the citizens of Winthrop for their input. It is important that we cultivate an atmosphere of inclusion for every citizen of our town, and that all options or opinions are heard. Respect for one another will be paramount if we are to succeed as a vibrant, healthy community. It will be the goal of this council to operate our town affairs in the most transparent way as possible and continue to pursue additional ways to provide information regarding meetings, projects, and general information to the public. Finally, I cannot express to you this evening how grateful I am to be on this stage tonight to serve as your town council president. Over the next 2 years, I will do everything I can to continue to improve the town that we all call home. I would like to take this opportunity to thank my team, Team Vecker as we called it, who worked so hard for me each day during the campaign. I would like to especially thank my family who are here tonight, all in the front row there. Say hi. No? With a special shout out to my grandson, Christian Bonapani. Could you stand up, Christian? This was my hardest worker on the campaign. He had his first experience in government, in politics, and he loves it. More of our kids need to get involved at that young age of 13. Thank you, I love you. Finally, I'd like to recognize my wife, Linda. Stand up, Lynn. She was with me every day, supporting me, right next to me. Wherever I went, she was there by my side. And she's done a lot on her own as it pertains to substance abuse in the town. And I thank you for that, babe. So thank you, everyone, for attending tonight's ceremony. I wish you all the best of the new year. Good night, stay warm, God bless, and get your shovels ready. Thank you.
Just before we conclude tonight, we'd like to also mention that Massport and CEO Tom Glenn for his support during the last couple of weeks of snowstorms. We just certainly wanted to make sure everyone knows the MWRA Massport, even though sometimes we disagree, they're always there to support us. And we appreciate their support as well. And before we go, I'd just like to invite Council President Ron Vecchia up and the former Council President Russ Sanford up for a presentation of a small parting gift.
Russ, on behalf of the incoming full committee and a lot of your outgoing friends, we'd like to present you with the citation for all the service that you've put in the last, how many years?
12.
12 years.
Yes.
Okay, you were there day one,
Right.
and you were a lot about what I talked about here.
Thank you.
So
Appreciate
thank you
that.
for your service for the town of Winthrop.
Thank you, Ron.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Is Paul Varone in the house? Yeah? Okay. Mickey? Another one that was there in day one, I believe.
Yes.
Nick Del Vento, my good friend. This guy, steady on his feet, steady Eddie as we call him, the man with the finances. Head up the finance division, but thank you for your service to the community. You've done a great job through the years, and I will not enjoy not seeing you on TV anymore.
It's a lot of double negatives.
I'm going to miss it, but thank you. Thank you for everything.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Peace luck. Okay.
Date if you wanted this.
Okay. Also, Paul Barone and Rich Boyajian couldn't be here this evening, and we'll see them at a later date and present them with their citations, and thank them for the service to the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President, and this will end our ceremony for tonight, but please, family and friends are invited for coffee and cookies in the cafeteria with the council. Thank you again for coming.